Yo, what is going on, everybody? Isaac Mashman here, and welcome back to Chase the Vision with Isaac Mashman, the podcast that is all about helping you become a more capable individual through the means of personal and self-development. Today, I have two very sharp-looking young guys who are slightly older than me, who run a successful, in my opinion, company, and they're looking to, take their company to the moon. Now, before I introduce the two guys that I do have on, I would like to make a quick announcement that I've decided to do 4 guest interviews every single month. That's something that I've been, bouncing back and forth over the past month, trying to figure out what way I could provide value to you guys and also not put a limit and put a glass wall in between you guys getting other people's and other entrepreneur stories, and also putting a glass wall in between them sharing their own stories. So I have the founders of a company named Popl on, Nick Eischens, I hope I pronounced your name right, and Jason Alvarez-Cohen. Now, these two guys I actually met through a mutual friend of ours who's actually a part of their team, Jeremy Greenfield. So Jeremy, thank you so much for making that introduction whenever you listen back through this. But Popl is, a company that I overlooked when I first saw it. And then through conversation with Jeremy on Facebook, he ended up sending me a Popl and I checked it out. And I don't want to, talk about it too much, but it pretty much replaces Linktree, and it replaces the business card in a digital sense that is, in my opinion, epic and revolutionary. And so I wanted to bring these guys on to talk about their story, talk about the company, and see what value they can provide. Nick, Jason, how are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Yeah,
Isaac, thanks for having us.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah, 100%. Well, hey, I do know that we're, working on a limited time schedule, but I would love for both of you guys to do like a short introduction about your backstories before we hop into, talk about the company. Nick, do you want to go first, my man?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Nick Eischens. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. And I met Jason back at UCLA. We went to UCLA together. Jason's 1 year older than me, and we have been best friends since I joined the fraternity. And so we were fraternity brothers. I got to know Jason by going to the gym with him every day, and we just became best friends like that. And we always shared a dream of starting a company together. And here we are. Jason, you go.
Yeah. So I'm the older guy, 1 year older than Nick. I met him at UCLA, became fast friends. Really loved working out together. We had a good kind of like push each other vibe, and it helped both of us get into great shape. My background's in software engineering. So once Nick and I learned about NFC and kind of this use case with Popl, I was able to build our platform from the ground up, and that's why we grew so fast.
Love it, man. Now, how exactly do you guys kind of have this mutual understanding of like, we should start a business together? Because I've met many people, and some people I have this energy with, and I'm like, I want to do business with you. And then I've met some people who are like, we're better as friends. Now, I can think of a couple people in my own individual life that have really pushed me forward to where we're kind of in the gym too, and we're pushing one another forward. So that is a great chemistry and relationship to have. But what types of conversation did you guys have starting out, to lead up to let's work together?
Yeah. Well, so we, to be honest, we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into. So we came up with the prototype. We had the 2 prototypes on our phones, and we were just going out to parties. This is pre-COVID, and we were just trying them out on people. Mm-hmm. And when we saw the reactions and how kind of into the idea that everyone was, we decided like, hey, let's do something with this. We didn't know that we'd be kickstarting this, this project that's going to take years of our life, but we were just kind of excited. We were really excited about the idea. And then I was just thinking, it's my best friend. It's going to work out if we start a company,
Yeah.
It was kind of like, the naivety of not really knowing all the nuances of starting a company was just it wasn't even there to stop us. So we just went.
Also, like, we're both not the type of guys to have a 9-to-5 job, work Monday to Friday, and like enjoy the weekends. We both really want to build something and work for ourselves. And so I remember at the time, Jason was a software engineer at Boeing. I really didn't know what I wanted to do yet. I tried out real estate. I tried out working at a startup, and I didn't find anything I liked to do until we had this idea where it was like, we're going to start this company. We're the owners. We're the founders. We're going to like make something that people want and make all the decisions. It's like, it's exciting. It's a lot of work, but I think we both love what we do.
Right. Yeah. And to most people, to get a software engineering job at Boeing would be like the dream job that everybody works to. So you must have like really been against the whole taking orders thing for you to just completely like leave that, Jason. Like that's kind of impressive, actually. That's cool.
It wasn't the taking orders. Like I'm okay with working with and working for like successful people. That's fine with me. That's, that's Nick's, yeah, I totally see what Nick's saying with that. But for me, it was mostly just like, I wanted to live an extraordinary life. Ever since I was a kid, I didn't want to live a normal life.
What does that mean to you?
Every day when I went to Boeing, I just like felt like I was living such a normal life, and I was seeing all these normal people, not normal people, but I was seeing all these people who were just like content with this lifestyle, and a lot of them were not happy. And I looked at it and I was like, this is not for me. And so that's kind of where that realization came from.
Okay. So extraordinary in the sense of just like everyday living, of just like maybe the lifestyle, being able to travel, working for something more, always growing, that sort of thing. Now, Nick, when you were going to UCLA, what were you going for, like as a major?
So I started off as an engineer.
Okay.
My freshman year, I was studying engineering, but I was not good at it. And after going to a couple job fairs and talking to engineers, I was like, I had no interest in doing what they wanted to do. So I was kind of like in limbo. And so the classic move at UCLA, if you didn't like engineering, was to drop into econ. So then I got my degree in economics. I think I have a pretty good business acumen. Like I run most of our finances. I run our supply chain. I kind of got that kind of business knowledge from my degree, and Jason got technical knowledge from his.
So both of you actually like graduated.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I love it. Now, do either of you come from like entrepreneurial backgrounds? Because a lot of times, the background and the family that you're raised in has either a positive influence into your business life or a negative influence into your business life and just overall the way that you think. So were either of your parents, maybe into business ventures or of that nature?
Yeah. So my dad is actually a big part of our company right now. He's an advisor as well as an investor. And he started Skydeck, which is an accelerator at UC Berkeley. So he is very in the startup tech scene. So he's been a huge help to us. And then my mom is also very, she's a professor at UC Berkeley. So that combination of education plus that startup mindset, I think is what helped me not only finish college, but also want to, start a own company.
I love that. And
like the exact opposite. My dad was a lawyer. So he was like kind of encouraging me to go to law school or study law, but he didn't push that hard. And then my mom was, she just retired. She was at Hallmark for almost 30 years. So she climbed the corporate ladder. But I think both of our parents are really happy to see what we're doing. And I think they both just want us to be successful and be happy.
Right. And that's a huge blessing. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the introduction to NFCs. Now, you guys were first introduced in a party in Hollywood Hills, right? When somebody came up to you with a business card.
Right.
So you saw that idea, and now you saw that there is an issue with that. What was that like big issue that you saw that you guys could make better? Because entrepreneurship, starting up a company or providing a service is all about providing solutions. So what solution were you providing?
Well, their solution to this problem was not good. And it was immediately clear to me. But then also the real thing that really kind of kickstarted us, and the reason why we're doing something slightly different is that we didn't go the card approach, because Nick and we had never had business cards to that point. So it's like the fact that he was using a business card, why do you even need that? Why not just have a back of the phone accessory that allows you to phone tap, which is a behavior that makes sense to people. So that's where we came up with this back of the phone product. And at this point, that product did not exist.
Right. Okay. Now I have actually the keychain Popl right here. So for people who are watching the video recording, they can see. And what they basically do is you put the Popl on the back of your phone. And if you're listening to this in audio, I'm apologizing in advance. Go ahead and pull up YouTube and pull up the video and watch that and subscribe. But regardless, it's really cool because you take this thing, you pop it to the NFC reader, and the NFC reader is the same thing that's in, whenever you're going to the store, you use Apple Pay, you use, credit cards, whatever, and they have that little stripe Wi-Fi symbol pretty much. And it takes you to the Popl page, which has all of your different socials, all of your different, individual links, your contact info. So I thought it was really cool. And it almost kind of, get not to mention companies and mention competitors, but, Linktree is kind of obsolete if somebody has a Popl, because why are you redirecting traffic to so many different sites when you could just have one place for it all? So how would you guys describe Popl to somebody super simple and like, let's say a 3-sentence elevator pitch?
Oh, money. So Popl is the next generation business cards. Professionals and Gen Zs put Popl on their phone, on their keys, and on their wrists to make instant digital connections with friends and clients.
Nick, I saw something change in your eyes. You're like, oh, serious. Okay. Elevator pitch.
Yeah,
I love it.
we just finished Y Combinator, and that they really are big on having us get our 2-liner down of exactly what we're tackling.
Congratulations on that, by the way. To have investors and to have that outside help is huge. I know that whenever I was starting up my company, it was rather bootstrapped. I'm like, I'm gonna just take the money that I can and start it. And obviously it's a service-based business, not a product-based business, two entirely different things. Now, to list off a couple of your accolades, because honestly, anybody can start up a product-based service or a product-based business, but it's another thing to have that level of success that you guys have had in a matter of 18, 24 months. Let's see, from what I was reading, sold 700,000 units in 130 different countries, 30 different resellers, featured in TechCrunch, featured in Forbes, and listed on Target within the past couple of months. On top of that, $2.7 million generated in revenue. Now, not to stroke your egos, but that's pretty impressive, guys. Like, seriously. Now, what was the number one thing? I know that you guys went viral on TikTok. I know that you've had some success with social media, but what do you think really makes Popl stand out? Because I've been on Instagram, and ever since I followed the page and engaged with you guys, I've seen like 6 different competitors to you guys who seem to be just hopping on that trend of NFC. And regarding quality, y'all's look, Popl looks like the best. But what makes you guys different?
We like to say winners focus on winning the race and the losers focus on the winners.
Okay.
And so we are so focused on being the best company, providing the most value, and truly like replacing business cards. So we're always talking to users. We pride ourselves on how we build what the users want, and we build value and we give value to people.
Yeah, I also, we are very focused on our software. We're very focused on, we see that as the value as opposed to just the tag. To be honest, anyone can sell these tags or a card, or selling an NFC product is not necessarily that hard. So we don't see that as the real differentiator. We see our software as that. So I encourage anyone listening, and you guys like to, download our app, download others' apps, and you'll see the difference.
Yeah. And again, thank you for the praise on all the accolades, but we feel like we're just getting started. We haven't done anything yet. And we don't, I guess, sure, we might be successful, but we are still going, and there's a lot more to come.
There are degrees to success. Wiz Khalifa says that there are levels to success. You're always climbing. I mean, it's the equivalent of the corporate ladder, whatever pyramid you're talking about. Like, there's another level that you can always go to. But honestly, setting that standard for how you want to live and setting the standard for where you guys want to be is what pushes you forward. And, I was just listing off those things because today it's very difficult to find out who's real, who's just listing off a bunch of things, in front of a fake Lamborghini and buying their fake followers. And so to have that without having, all of that, there's buzz, but that buzz is generated off of something that is true, something that is genuine. And let's go ahead and talk about the initial startup stages when you were, building up the app. Now, Jason, I know that you did a lot of the software designing, and Nick, you did a lot of the branding, and you did a lot of the promotion and that sort of thing. How did you guys know that, hey, this is my field of building Popl, and this is where I'm going to be, and so we can build this together? Like, how was that relationship for you two?
It was pretty easy, since Jason was the software engineer and we needed the software. So just naturally that meant when it was just us two building this, and since we were a software company with a hardware product, Jason did the software, so I'll take over the hardware. Okay.
Just kind of like wherever I need to go, I'm just going to fill in the shoes where I need to. Okay. Yeah. Now, did that ever put tension on your friendship? Like, I couldn't imagine going into business with some of my closest friends, because I feel like that chemistry, that whole push yourself in the gym mentality has its positives and pros, but it can also have its cons. Like, did that affect the friendship at all, or did it strengthen it?
I think the mentality we have in the gym is great for Popl, because it just has us push each other more.
Okay.
But that said, there's obviously been ups and downs for sure. I'd say our relationship has changed a good amount since back in college, going on trips together and just not really having a care in the world, to now it's okay, we need to be focused and we need to be growing every day. So it's kind of a change in mindset. We're both holding each other accountable, and sometimes that means being more of a business partner as opposed to a friend, but we're doing our best to make that a hybrid.
Mhm.
Okay. Now let's talk culture. This is something that I've been super, super heavy on. I recently brought on some people from Mashman Ventures, and I've been studying how companies operate from within, because I believe that within the company, the internal culture really affects how other people perceive it from an external point of view. What's the culture like, with Popl? I know that you guys don't have like a team of 1,000 people just yet, but how big's the team right now?
7 now.
Yeah.
7?
Brought on someone new today.
I love it, dude. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank
Now, how's that culture? Like, what's the culture that you're trying to establish within the company?
Go ahead.
I mean, yeah. So we have our core values nicely laid out, and we talk about them with the team pretty often. Yeah. So we have 7. The first one is move the needle every day. So that just basically means like you got to be, like a lot of people say, 1% every day. Always be improving. That's very important to us. Even if it's a weekend, we're always improving each day. Popl is a family. We appreciate each other. Big family vibes. Celebrate small wins. We're all about, even if it's a small win, you got to celebrate it. Launch, iterate, and repeat. So we talk about Ripple.
Yeah, I mean, we when we started this whole company, we decided to call it Ripple, RIPPL. And I mocked up a little logo in Photoshop, and Jason and I thought it was like the coolest thing. Our first 2 products that we sold was a red Ripple and a blue Ripple. Red and blue, like the 2 most like loudest colors no one wants on their phone. So we like launched that. We sold it. We barely sold any, but we launched it before I'd say we were like ready, because launch, iterate, repeat. You launch something to get feedback on it. You get your feedback, you make it better, and you keep that whole cycle going. So that's how we built our company. That's the 4th core value.
Was that ever? Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Nah, okay, I'm gonna shut up. Jason, you go, man.
The opposite to that would be, you got to plan and you got to make everything perfect before you actually launch. And so you end up launching too late. It's like, you just, oh, it's not perfect yet. It's not perfect yet. No, don't launch yet. And that's exactly what we avoid.
Yeah, by the time you're done with that, the trend's already there and gone. I mean, dude, just look within the past 12, 16 months, the world's completely changed with, COVID and everything else, everything shutting down. Now, obviously that had, I'm sure, some effect on you guys, but in order to, I feel like the e-commerce space is continuously growing. We see cryptocurrencies taking off, Robinhood's going crazy with Dogecoin, all these different things are happening in the marketplace. And so by the time the country opens back up, and not even just the country, but internationally, being in 130 countries, like that's huge. You're coming in at a great point, because everybody's going to want to get out to networking. They're so stuck inside, they're stuck, in front of their cameras and phones. People are going to go out to eat for the first time in months, and then they're going to bring out Popl, and that's just going to completely change the name of the game. So we can talk about going viral. We could talk about all those, but you've already answered all of those questions before. But I want to talk about something a little bit more business related, and that's more the subscription model that you have now. Honestly, the initial price for the Popl is, I think, like $20 or whatever it might be, and that's something that lasts forever. I mean, they're high quality products, and I know that I sound like a sales guy, but guys, if you're listening, I told you way before that I'm not running any advertisements. I brought these guys on because I saw success and I saw what they were doing, and I don't have an affiliate link. I'm not trying to sell you guys. If you guys want to go and buy it, go ahead and buy it, but I'm not making $1 for this. But what I do want to talk about is the subscription model that you guys implemented, Popl Pro, where they get additional features. Now, what was the decision to do a subscription model versus just sell the product and offer everything as 100% free?
Software is super valuable. And what's even more valuable than software is recurring revenue. So like if you have the best companies in the world have recurring revenue, and they can forecast, oh, we're going to make this much this month, and then it's going to grow every month. And that's something that's super favorable for investors. And that's how you really get users, lifetime users, is people who pay for your product month over month.
Well, we just had so many features in the app, so much software value, that we were just like, you know what, look at this. Like we could charge a monthly for this. So it's just kind of a realization that, okay, there's all this value that people want, and our customers are always asking for new features. So we just package them all up into a Pro. It's a natural progression.
Yeah, and I was looking at the things though, and the features that you have on the free plan is actually, it's still good. Like it still defeats it still beats out Linktree. It's not like one of those things where it's like pay to win. Like I don't know if either of you guys ever played video games growing up. You had some games that were pay to win, and if you didn't spend money, you didn't play the game. And so basically creating multiple streams of income, which that's huge. Now talk about the initial stage of funding, because you mentioned that briefly. Now having multiple streams of income when it comes to getting a valuation of company and raising money is huge. Now, what were some of the barriers that you guys had to overcome? Because a lot of people listening, they feel like, the investing stage is something that's so scary. They never even want to start the company and get it off of the ground to begin with, or their idea, because of this huge brick wall that's in front of them.
Well, so what's the brick wall? Like the like raising money?
Yeah, what was the overall process of investing, and finding investors? Now, I believe that your dad Jason had a little bit of an investing start to help you guys get up off of the ground, but moving forward and finding external investors, how was that?
Yeah, so it was a huge help from Y Combinator.
Well, so there's a difference between like the first startup funding, like our bootstrap, where we raised $50,000 when we first got started.
Mhm.
But then almost 2 years later, we raised a little over 2 million for our seed round. But that was after we had already built the business. So would you like to talk about the get off the ground funding or the seed round?
Let's talk about the seed round, because I don't think that's something that enough people talk about. Everybody talks about the initial stage, but they don't talk really about, finding the big money.
Yeah, so we had just finished Y Combinator, which ended in the end of March. And they have something called Demo Day, which is where every company who just finished up Y Combinator goes through and gives a 1-minute presentation to to thousands of investors on a virtual Zoom meeting. So we went through the list, and sure enough, it was our turn. So I gave a quick 60-second presentation, very high level, best parts about our business, how we're growing so fast. And sure enough, we got a bunch of inbound interest. So we basically just scheduled all of these calls with investors for the next couple of weeks. And it was just back to back, basically 9 or 10 meetings a day. And it was just, that was my life. I was kind of handling those myself. Jeremy would sometimes take notes, and then Nick was, continuing to grow the company. And so it would just be meeting after meeting. And eventually we started to pick up some momentum. And a big thing for investors is FOMO. So fear of missing out. That is the biggest driver of investors investing in your company. If this investor that they respect is investing in your company, oh, I need to invest in your company too. Otherwise I feel like I'm missing out. So that really, when we started getting our big offers, that really helped us get the offers that we actually needed, as opposed to just, okay, here's an offer with a lot of money, but we actually got offers that fit our allocation and were exactly what we wanted to raise.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Now, what's next for, obviously time is of the essence, because you guys got to get running here in a couple minutes, but what's next for Popl, and what's next for Nick and Jason?
So we can't say too much because a lot of stuff is secret. It's coming out soon, but we plan on doing a retail launch. We will be in stores coming fall, winter season in retail stores across the US. Can't say which ones, but be on the lookout for that. And we've got some big events coming up. So as the world opens up, as events, conferences, trade shows, festivals, we're positioning ourselves to be the connection accessory, the digital business card for all these events. And then we got some big software changes coming too.
Yeah, in terms of software, adding new features all the time, adding new products that are coming out soon. And then we're also focused on enterprise. So think about this as an individual product. We're focused on, how do you manage a team of Popls? And so we're having some really cool enterprise stuff coming out soon.
I love it. Now, there are a lot of different things that I would have loved to get into, talking about your personal brand and Popl, because that's a big part of my business personally. It's, personal branding and building up a name for yourself. But why don't we close this out, and where can people find you, and then where can people find Popl?
You can find Popl on popl.co. That's our website. On Instagram and TikTok at Popl.
Popl.
Popl. Yeah.
And then for me, Instagram, Jason, Alco. Jason Alco. Yep.
My Instagram handle is nice guy. It's pretty hard. I'm trying to get a new one. I wanted to get Nick E, but that was taken. So my Instagram is at NEISCH_guy. Nice guy.
Okay, so if you're listening, go ahead and put the playback speed at 0.25 and then follow along with him. But Nick, Jason, I look forward to looking back on this interview and saying that, I managed to get the founders of Popl before it turned into $1 billion company. So super excited to be connected with you guys. And guys, be on the lookout for another episode coming Monday, and then interviews every single Friday. Much love.